US President Donald Trump says, US President-elect Donald Trump says the UK doing great after the Brexit vote, but he threatens a huge tariff on BMW cars imported from Mexico. BMW shares sink over 1.5% today in Frankfurt. Plus, prosecutors in South Korea are seeking the arrest of the boss of Samsung, who's been accused of bribery. We'll have the latest live from Seoul, and we'll keep you across all the financial markets. It's all about the pound today. It's taken another beating on fears of a hard Brexit. We'll tell you all you need to know.
And we're going to be getting the inside track on the world of events apps. They're great for their users. It's not actually possible to make any money from them. We're going to be speaking to the boss of Revel. And this weekend, the owner of a Tesla car ended up stranded when he relied on his phone to unlock it. Today, we want to know, what's your worst technology mishap? Just let us know. Use the hashtag. It's BBC BizLive.
Don't leave the house without your car keys. That's the moral of that story. A very warm welcome to the programme. So, US President-elect Donald Trump says he'll offer Britain what he calls a quick and fair trade deal within weeks of taking office. His comments come just days before a speech by UK Prime Minister Theresa May, where she's expected to reveal further detail of the country's strategy as it prepares to leave the European Union. So, speaking to the Times newspaper, Mr. Trump said his team would work very hard to get it done quickly and properly. And he said it would be good for both sides. Mr. Trump went on to say the UK had made the right decision in leaving the European Union and that other countries were likely to follow in Britain's footsteps. Meanwhile, in a separate conversation interview with the German newspaper Bild, the US President-elect threatened BMW with a 35% border tax for cars made in Mexico. Last week, the German carmaker said it was committed to its plans to open up its new factory in San Luis Potosi, despite Mr. Trump's persistent warnings. Well, let's have a listen to what the billionaire businessman said in his interview with The Times.
Dr. Brian Klaas is a fellow in comparative politics at London School of Economics. Dr. Klaas, a number of different angles, but let's start with the British one. He can't do a quick deal, can he? I mean, when I'm saying quick, I mean anything under 2 years. You can't even begin to start talking for another 2 years, can he? Legally, they're not allowed. While they're still a member of the EU, Britain can't actually talk or can't negotiate a deal, can they?
Correct.
You say that, of course, these are multinational deals. There are a lot of countries involved. This would just be one country with another country. OK, let's talk about BMW, because he's been sabre-rattling, that's a word to describe it, sabre-rattling against BMW. And BMW has said, no, we're going to continue to build our cars in Mexico. In terms of what he's said here, do you think this whole effect on the car industry of actually trying to impose tariffs, and how damaging is it? The final, perhaps most important thing, is really a political one. It's really his ability to push across. You can call them protectionist, perhaps he'd call it more nationalist trade stance. How able is he to bring along Congress behind him to do these things? He says he can do it. It's not him. It's Congress, really, in the end, that has to do it. OK, Brian Klaas, thank you very much indeed. Brian Klaas there from the London School of Economics. Great.
Other stories today to be across. We have got Facebook introducing new tools in Germany to help combat the spread of so-called fake news stories. The world's largest social network said it would enable German users to flag up stories which appear to be fabricated. The stories will then be passed to third-party fact-checkers and, if found to be unreliable, will be marked in users' news feeds as disputed.
Shares of the airbag maker Takata are tumbling after the company announced a deal with the US government. Now, the Japanese firm is going to pay $1 billion. It's going to plead guilty to criminal wrongdoing over its airbags, and they, of course, have been linked to multiple deaths. On Friday, shares rose more than 16%, but then today, this morning, they fell as much as 10% in Tokyo.
As ever, lots of stories on the Business Live page, the BBC page tracking news as it breaks in business. It is dominated by Trump today to a degree, also dominated by the fall in the value of sterling.
They call them bigwigs.
The gathering of bigwigs from business and politics in Davos, Switzerland. Let's talk about what is going on in South Korea. Another massive story breaking today is the news, of course, that the de facto head of Samsung has been called into question. That was the end of last week, but they have now asked for his arrest.
OK, let's go over to South Korea and let's talk to Kevin Kim. Kevin, what's the latest we've got on this?
Well, thanks to Kevin, who's in South Korea for us. Let's have a look at markets in Asia in general, which were reacting to a great degree to what Donald Trump had to say in those interviews that we've already mentioned. Markets have disappeared for some reason. But you could see that the Japanese markets were down by 1%. At the close, we've got the dollar weakening, so the yen strengthening. That's really affected exporters listed in Tokyo. But the other big effect is not just about what Donald Trump had to say, but really it's in anticipation of what Theresa May is going to say in her speech this week about how the UK intends to depart from the European Union. And we've got the pound falling quite significantly versus the US dollar. That's one of the big issues. But the FTSE 100 fairly flat at the moment. So let me hand you back to Jamie to talk some more about these markets.
We're going to be talking to Jeremy Cook, who is Chief Economist at the World First. Jeremy, pound, as ever, is wagging the tail of the UK economy, and particularly the FTSE. So the pound goes down, FTSE goes up. That's normal. Actually, doesn't seem to be happening quite that way today.
Quite interesting as well to hear what Mr. Carney has to say later, because he's got a real tightrope to walk, hasn't he? Because if he's got, the pound weakening significantly, inflation headed up a bit, and also, of course, he's got into a lot of hot water.
Jeremy, thanks so much for that, Jeremy Cook.
Right. Jeremy's going to reveal his worst technology mishap later. Are you going to reveal yours?
Yeah, I got too many, actually. I can't really think which
one I'm going to choose. I could fill a whole programme. But we won't do that. It's too boring. Still to come, we'll be getting the inside track on the world of events apps that let you make the most of your downtime, if you have any.
We're going to find out what they could do for socialising, what dating apps have done for relationships. You're with Business Live. It's on the BBC News.
First, though, we are talking retail again here in the UK. It has been dominating business news for over a week now. So it's Shop Direct, the owners of Littlewoods and Very.co.uk, who are the latest retailer to put out their Christmas results. And it's more good news,
it reported 9% sales growth year on year, fifth year in a row. They've had a Christmas boost. Andrew Walker is in our...
All right, thanks a lot. Andrew Walker, who's in our business unit.
OK.
Where the crew is that kind of fuel this machine. They're sitting next to him, aren't they, up there?
Yeah, but
That's where they all are.
The latest story on Live, well, one of the latest stories, unions holding talks over tube strikes. So we've got the... other story we've got just down here. The pound may surpass flash crash in just a few moments.
Hello again. This is Business Live. Our top story today, it's once again dominated by Mr. Trump, who has been saying all sorts of things, not least about the fact that he thinks it was very smart for Britain to leave the European Union. Of course, we've not left yet. The decision to do so.
It was more than just talking about the relationships with the UK. In a wide-ranging interview with The Times, he said that leaving would be a great thing and he wanted the US to strike a trade deal with the UK as fast as it could.
Let's quickly look at financial markets. They are reacting to... Now, phone-based apps have transformed everything we do pretty much, whether it's dating, dining, shopping, and they're now trying to revolutionise our downtime as well as taking advantage of the so-called experience economy.
In 2014, the US... Joining me now is Brandon Stevens, who's co-founder of the event discovery app, as it calls itself, Revel, to talk more about the space. Just give us an idea about it, how it works.
That sounds extremely time-consuming and labour-intensive. How can you possibly be across everything and let us know via your app?
Yeah,
no, but how do you physically make it happen?
How do we?
It's all right for big organisations and big chains. But what about my local pub, which is just an independent pub and just having a sort of quiz night or something like that? Can I find out about that?
You can, and we're
partnering with. But it all depends whether it puts the information into your system, doesn't it?
Yes.
OK, I'm sure you know this figure, but 90% of all startups fail, right?
Yes. Yes.
At what point do you know you're going to be a success?
I don't think you ever know. I mean, I've been through.
Oh, you must know. You think Facebook is still worrying?
I've been through a startup before.
If we find out a bit about your history, you and your wife are a sort of team that have founded this with another individual. Mm-hmm. Silicon Valley based. You've already ran few companies already, been fairly successful. So you're banking on that experience, really, I assume.
Well, just 17.
Yes.
That's all.
So
your costs can't be huge.
That's a lot of people. You've got to fund 17 salaries.
No, I'm just thinking about their income. I'm just thinking how much... I was thinking... back to a question I was asking about when you know success. When do you start making money? OK, Brandon Stevens from Revel, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks very much.
All the best.
Thank you very much.
We will keep an eye. Now, in a moment, we're going to talk about some of the other stories out there in business, including the quite amusing one about the Tesla car and the guy who couldn't get anywhere because he didn't have the keys. But anyway, we'll hear about that in a moment. But first, have to stay in touch with us.
Yeah.
We were just having a great debate about whether 17
is
employees
a lot. I don't
is a
think it's
big
not very
number
low.
or not.
I mean, to run something that, it's getting big, you know, it's thousands and thousands of
When you're responsible for 17 salaries, it keeps you awake at night.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. Anyway,
That's not
Jeremy's
as many as
back.
20.
We're going to lose time here.
Sorry.
So,
Carry
Jeremy,
on.
let's talk about this story, the Tesla car. Just first of all, tell us about what happened to begin with. A disco ball for my son's birthday in a flurry the night before his party, and it arrived, and it was this big, and it was powered by one
What did your
AA
son say?
battery.
What did your son
We
say?
came up with a plan.
Oh, good.
We
I'm
came
glad
up with a
about
plan.
that.
And we've got some tweets here. So Stephen says, I left eBay logged in at work and a colleague used it to click buy it now on a £47,000 Cessna biplane. much grovelling and apologies to the seller. That's a classic, Stephen. Thank you so much.
That's a real good one.
That is brilliant. OK, let's talk about this massive deal in the Financial Times reported. Luxottica and Essilor, and yet they are behind Ray-Bans and all sorts of brands we know very well indeed.
Every fashion.
Two kind of quietly getting together on a day when they're not really mentioned much.
When
in
we're
the
all
news
talking about
because
Trump.
of Mr.
Well,
Trump.
yeah, it's probably
Interesting. It's two European companies,
Yeah.
Italian and French.
Who dominate, it's a global continent when it
Yeah.
comes to 50
Yeah.
billion.
You
Be
just
selling
said,
around the world.
look at the brand names they have: Chanel, Sunglass Hut, Ray-Ban. It's international.
Probably employ more than 17 people, I'd
Probably.
imagine.
I wonder if Mr. Trump's going to put taxes on importing them into the States.
Who knows?
You'd have to think so.
Jeremy, thanks for your time
Jeremy, thank
today.
you. That's it from Business Live today. It's going to be more business news throughout the day on BBC Live.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.